My name is Patrick Kilhenny. I'm the host tonight, one of the hosts. It will be talking about life purpose and about the psychic gifts and delving a lot into purpose as far as how to use your inner sensitivity, your psychic sensitivity to help you really clarify, know what you're doing and how to do it. Co-presenting with me is Esther Karhu. Let's get into the main topic tonight and about purpose, and this is one of the 8 parts there. That symbol there about the universe, the cosmos, the all. I talk about it from the point of view of both science and also from religions. You know, some people have backgrounds in one or the other, so I'm going to mention a few from either. This is not a religion. It's a non-denominational. It's for people of all different beliefs, and the main thing is learning how to really get clear on your inner communication, how to tune in and know you're getting information that's clear, and know what you really sense and your purpose in doing it, and practical techniques. But anyway, science, you see from the world we're in the solar system there, our own particular solar system, that everything is interconnected, it talks about here, and how the planets are all involved with each other, and they move around each other, and the sun we need the energy of the sun, obviously, and the atmosphere, we need the pressure and the oxygen, and the vegetation and the animals, you know, we need all that. It's all part of the picture in the terms of the physical sense and science, and it's all interconnected is what we know, and everything, it all has a purpose, all these different pieces, you know, in terms of what they're doing, and so we're going to talk about us, you know, people and our own purpose and having a unique purpose too. Religions say the same thing. They talk about being an expression of God, all of this, and being one with all, and that everything fits together. You know, so again, it's just different words, but very often it's very connected. Once I got beyond the words and got a feeling for what it was really saying, there's a lot that they're both saying that jives. Science talks about you're the total component of the universe. You know, all the elements and so on with the elements, the stardust and everything. That's what we are, basically, all the same elements. So it's all connected there, and in the bigger picture, just starting, so we're all on the same page. You're probably familiar with this to get started, but this is a school. Planet Earth is one big school where we have a chance to learn and grow, and that's what it's really about in terms of overall from that bigger picture. You know, what we're doing here to just go further with who I am and my state of mind, and learning things every day, and it keeps me interested and more enthusiastic and so on. But behind all this, in terms of the physical world, what I've found as I've unfolded my sensitivity more, and I've found behind the things going on in my life, there's something deeper. There's more going on in my interact when I'm involved with people. There's certain people in my life, and the work I'm doing, and my feelings, and really tune in. It tells me, you know, if it's something that's really working for me, or maybe something that's got a feeling of telling me something I don't need to be involved in, or whatever. But something going on behind the scenes, and that inner level, that when I tune in, I get a sense of what's really happening, starting with my own life, and that's what's good with my psychic sensitivity. It just tells me. I take time to tune in, and you know, I look at situations going on. I get that feeling that, in my case, I'm intuitive first. We'll talk about the 4 gifts, but I tend to have this understanding. You know, the intuitives work with inner hearing or understanding, ideas that pop in there, and I just get this understanding what's really happening, and that tells me, and that lets me know what's really going on for me, and starting with me, and then how I can work with other people involved with and projects, and how I can really do the things that are going to work better, rather than kind of getting caught up and frustrated just trying to deal with the surface things, you know, what people say or what I think is going on, you know, which may have some truth, but it doesn't really get to the heart of the matter usually, you know. And the bottom line, if you want to know how tuned in and psychic you are, is you can just look at how your days are going on the average. If you have more days that tend to be up, you tend to be in the right place, you know, and things happen that seem to be going the way that work out pretty well. You're learning some things, and you feel pretty good. Then you're using your sensitivity more. On the other hand, if you have more of the days where they tend to be not going well, maybe frustrated, you know, in the places you wonder, why am I here with this person, or why am I doing this thing? It's just a matter of making little adjustments here and there. You can kind of do a few things, and as you do that, you'll get back in your groove, basically, is what this is about. So it's really about just unfolding that inner communication rather than going a lot of times by the outer world, which, may have some of the truth, but it doesn't have my own truth, when it comes to my direction and everything. I really need that inner truth there. So that's where we're at now, and this is the rest there, like I'm saying here about it. When I use my sensitivity, it just keeps my state of mind growing all the time, and I have that high energy when you're learning things. It's like a freshness there, and then there's that positive energy, and just when I have that state of mind, and when I'm that way, I'm attracting that type of energy all around me. With as far as people that come to me, certain people will come in there, and I'll have more abundance come to me, and certain opportunities. I've started businesses where I just went out there and just decided I wanted to do it. After I started getting into this again, I said in my 20s, and I wanted to have a business, and I just went out and said, okay, I really want to do it. I didn't know a lot, but I just went and did it, because it felt like it was the thing to do, and sure enough, when I really made that decision, and that was the key thing, making that decision and not sort of hanging out and analyzing too much and thinking and sort of waiting for it to come to me. I just went out, I did things, and next thing I know, I happened to run into just the right person who was a partner of mine, and he knew what I didn't know as far as I started a restaurant there in Hawaii, and then I needed a place, and I won't go through the whole thing, but the things sort of lined up, a lot of them, and other things I did my part, and the bottom line is it's amazing when I just go and do what I feel I need to be doing, and there I am. Things start happening, and if something comes up that seems to be a challenge, very often I get an insight, or something comes up, and everything gets solved. Everything keeps moving and you found that too. I know when you're doing things that really feel like you need to do, and you made that decision to go do it. Those are the two key things. When you do that, how you probably have the same thing. You've met certain people, and things have happened in your life, and so on, and then your clear perception there, that psychic perception starts to flow big time, and you get all the insights. We'll talk about how you may know, you may feel. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, how you perceive the four gifts. And your energy is really tuned in, so that's what this is all about. What I like about it is even the more challenging situations, when things are not going well, I really need to regroup and use my sensitivity to find out what's really going on in the situation that I'm kind of banging my head against the wall. And, if something repeats a second time, and that's what happens when I'm not using my sensitivity. I'm not learning the lessons there, and I wind up maybe a different situation in a job or relationship, a different person, but it's the same type of thing going on that's behind it. So it's just a matter of tuning in. Okay, why is this still happening? And when I take time to clarify that, then I can move on rather than just getting tired. Oh, here it is again. That same thing happening with another person or another thing. Whatever. So it's really great to be able to find the real answers of what's happening, and that's what using that sensitivity is all about, and so on. And overall, what it comes down to is seeing a pattern in terms of what's going on in the bigger picture with your overall pattern of your life experiences. And we'll get more specifically into this, but having that plan, we all have a certain unique plan that we come here with, that we're here to do. There's a reason why. We all have certain parents that we're born here, and the family we come into, and the environment. Whether you're you're in a city. When you grow up, especially those first 7 years, it's a very important time, as you probably know. And some people brought up in the country on a farm or something, the other side of the coin, and it's a lot different, obviously, than being in the city. So there's a reason why, and I didn't understand it, but it all fits together. People talk a lot about synchronicity and the overall pattern here, but there's a reason why all these things have happened, and I've had certain people in my life, and especially parents, as you get your sensitivity clear, and a lot of you, I'm sure, to the point you have, where you really have a sense of why your particular parents, raised you, or whoever did raise you, and because they had a lot to do with getting you started, obviously, and the same with your children in terms of really understanding what that inner relationship is and what you're really there to do with them, so you know whether you're doing it and when you're done with it. And it really is great to tune into that, and instead of not having the facts on what's really going on with people and situations and so on. So seeing what's important there. All right. So we're going to start off in one more area, and then we'll do a technique here that's related to this, is your life thrust. And this is a key part of your purpose, and it specifically is what we're talking about here is your thrust. Is the overall message, is what you have within you. It's something that you bring out in your life, and when you're due, your life clicks. It's like things go well, and you meet certain people, and you're in your groove, as they say. And it's very specific in terms of having your own life thrust. It's unique to you, and I have my own unique thrust, and it's summed up in a certain phrase. And it means something when you already have a sense of what you're about. You're already, doing your things and so on, and have a sense of depending on how tuned in you are, you're following what you're all about and living your thrust. But it helps a lot. When I found out you can actually have a consultation, and someone will help you there and tell you the thrust that you have for right now. And right now, my thrust, I'll give you the sentence. It has to do with being in the flow. It's called I am the flow, is my thrust. And it means a lot to me. It's what my life is about when I'm in the flow and I'm working with the people and really just using that sensitivity and doing the things I need to do. I do things like this with webinars, and I start businesses, and all kinds of things happen. I just gotta go ahead. But the key is in the flow, and what that means is the key is the cleansed and clear energy, which I found by practicing these techniques and getting with other people that are very positive and tuned in, is I learned how to keep my energy very clear and tune in and keep my state of mind up high when I tracked all that good energy. And then the flow goes nicely for me. So that's the key with mine and so on. And Esther, if you want to share anything on that before we do the technique.
Well, my thrust is called Life is a Growth Experience. And it's really about getting the most fulfillment out of every experience that I have. And when I first got that, I kind of just went, yes, so, because that really made total sense to me. But I didn't think of it as something that was about what my life was about. But that's really the message that I kind of carry with me wherever I go. And that's, at one point, I was working in an office with a lot of people involved in this program, and to give you an idea of how the thrusts work, we would just, if the energy was getting low, we'd say, okay, who has a thrust about bringing up the energy? And somebody'd pipe up, and then they'd kind of lead us in a positive technique or something. And then if things were getting kind of scattered, we'd see if there was somebody that had a thrust about direction and finding your direction in your life, and we'd say, hey, what are you doing? You need to be inspiring us here, because you're going to help us stay on track, and so on. But that just gives you a feel for how it works. Whatever your thrust is a strength that you have within that you came to share with other people. So everybody has one, and once you start understanding it, you also understand why sometimes you don't feel great. And it's because you're not living that thrust. You're not being the real you, and you're trying to live, the life you were taught to live instead. So the thrust can be a very powerful healing tool for a person.